Tory was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on a breathing apparatus.
Tory Lanez was just stabbed in prison 14 times. The footage from the hospital is graphic and spreading fast. But here's the twist. The attack happened days before new evidence in the Megan Thee Stallion case was set to drop. This wasn't random. It looks like a hit. Let's get into it. Tory Lanez attacked in prison. The word from Lanez's verified IG account is that homie caught a whole 14 stab wounds, 7 to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his dome, and 1 to the left side of his face. The attack was so vicious that both his lungs collapsed, and he had to be put on a breathing machine during the initial treatment. That's some real life or death situation, no cap. This all went down in the early morning, around 7:20 a.m., when most inmates were just starting to move around the yard. The COs rushed in quick, giving first aid before shipping Lanez to an outside medical facility for proper treatment. Real talk, if the guards hadn't moved so fast, we might be having a whole different conversation right now, considering how bad he got hit up. As soon as word hit the streets about the attack, everybody started asking the same question: who would want to put hands on Tory like that, and why? Some people have been pointing to the politics inside the prison walls and how inmates move differently when there's a celebrity in the mix. Having clout behind bars can be both a blessing and a curse. Sometimes it keeps you protected, other times it puts a target on your back. The alleged hitter has been identified as Santino Casio, a 41-year-old inmate doing life for a body. Word is Casio's been locked up since 2004, transferred from LA County Jail for second-degree murder plus some attempted murder charges. After putting that work in on Lanez, they threw Casio in the hole pending investigation. Standard procedure when something this serious goes down inside. What's really got people's conspiracy theories popping off is the timing of it all. This attack happened just days after word got out that Lanez's legal team was about to drop some new evidence about the Megan Thee Stallion case. According to Lanez's people, some media dude named Gianno Caldwell was cooking up an op-ed for the New York Post about evidence that might show Tory was innocent in the shooting.
Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case.
Here's what happened after.
The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell.
This statement got the internet connecting dots like crazy, with mad conspiracy theories flying about whether the attack and the ongoing drama with the Megan case might be related. Some of Tory's ride or dies are saying the timing is sus, especially since Meg's team supposedly reached out for info on the new evidence right before the stabbing. But let's keep it a buck. There's zero solid evidence linking Megan Thee Stallion to the prison incident. That's just Twitter detectives doing too much. The updates on Tory's condition have been all over the place, with early reports saying his injuries weren't life-threatening, which seems cap when you consider homie had collapsed lungs and got stabbed 14 times. This disconnect has people side-eyeing the official statements. Medical experts have been calling out the timeline, specifically how Tory supposedly bounced back so quick from being on breathing support. According to them, going from collapsed lungs on a ventilator to talking normal in a matter of hours seems like a stretch.
And that's what we know for sure.
And originally when the report came out, they said it was non-life-threatening injuries. That sounds different.
2 collapsed lungs does not sound like it's just a walk in the park. It sounds pretty life.
The reason why they're saying that is like just allegedly a Mexican gang in there. It was like a hit. They stabbed them up.
Social media has been going ham with all kinds of theories about what really popped off. One rumor that's been getting mad traction is that the attack was linked to prison gang politics, with people saying race might have played a factor. The streets are saying Tory was taking care of black inmates, making sure they were eating good and staying protected, which might have created beef with other factions in the yard.
The rumors in the street are saying that because while Tory is in there, the black people around him, he's making sure that they eat, he's making sure that they're good. If you look at Tory wrong and all that, he's filling up everybody's, he's taking care of inside the jail.
Being famous in prison comes with a whole different set of problems. Celebrities often catch heat from inmates trying to make a name or set a rep by going at someone well known. In Tory's case, his conviction for shooting a female rapper might have made him a target for inmates looking to score points or push their own brand of jailhouse justice. Prison ain't like the outside world. There's a whole different code and hierarchy where violence can pop off over the smallest disrespect or power move. The public reaction to the stabbing has been split down the middle, just like everything else in the Tory and Megan saga since 2020. While some fans and fellow artists are sending prayers and wishing him a speedy recovery, others are showing zero sympathy, talking about karma and reaping what you sow. This division shows how deep the debate about justice, punishment, and forgiveness really goes, especially when famous people are involved.
For me, it's been about the conversation people are having about it.
It's disgusting.
I kind of don't like it. Let me be clear, I'm not a Tory Lanez fan. And I've obviously been very supportive of Meg and the whole situation. But what I find frustrating is the same people.
Are you a Meg music fan?
No. He's a Meg fan because she's a woman.
Some voices in the culture have been checking those who seem happy about the attack, pointing out how it's mad hypocritical to demand justice for Meg while simultaneously celebrating violence against Tory. They're saying once the legal system does its thing and hands down a sentence, cheering for additional street justice, ain't it? It's about separating the desire for accountability from straight up wishing harm on someone, no matter how you feel about their past actions. The details surrounding the attack on Tory Lanez are still murky. Authorities are investigating whether it was a planned hit or just another outburst behind bars. The motive, still unknown. But what's clear is that this is just another twist in a long, messy story. From the 2020 shooting involving Megan Thee Stallion to Lanez's conviction and now this prison incident, the drama hasn't let up. It's a saga that blends fame, violence, courtroom battles, and nonstop social media commentary. And with every new development, it only gets more complicated. Which brings us to the beginning, the tangled history between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. The messy history between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. To really understand why this prison stabbing has everybody talking crazy, we gotta take it back to the beginning of this whole saga between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. It all started on July 12th, 2020, when Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, real name Megan Pete, were partying at Kylie Jenner's crib in Los Angeles. What should have been just another night of celebrities turning up quickly turned into one of the biggest hip-hop controversies in recent memory. According to what came out in court and public statements, an argument popped off between Lanez and Megan during a car ride after leaving the party. People still debate what exactly they were beefing about. Megan testified that Tory got in his feelings after she came for his rap skills, and things escalated from there. The situation hit its peak when Megan got shot in the feet, leaving her bleeding and in serious pain. At first, reports were saying she got cut by glass, but Megan later set the record straight and revealed she'd actually been shot. This news had the culture shook, with fans and industry folks alike trying to make sense of what went down. What followed was a whole lot of back and forth with both sides telling different stories. Tory dropped a whole album called Daystar in September 2020, where he denied shooting Megan and claimed he was being framed. This public denial was interesting considering allegations that he had privately offered Megan and her friend hush money to keep quiet about what really happened. The legal process moved forward, culminating in a trial in December 2022 that had everybody glued to their phone for updates. During the high-profile court case, Megan testified about the shooting and how she received death threats on social media afterward. Various witnesses took the stand, including a neighbor who claimed to have seen the incident go down. After the jury deliberated, they found Lanez guilty on 3 felony charges: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, possession of a concealed unregistered firearm, and negligent discharge of a firearm. On August 8, 2023, the judge hit Lanez with a 10-year sentence for the shooting. During the sentencing, prosecutors said Tory tried to manipulate public opinion against Megan by using social media to discredit her story. Despite getting support letters from over 70 people, including Iggy Azalea, the judge wasn't trying to hear it and handed down the decade-long bid, showing how serious they took the charges. Throughout this whole ordeal, the case became a hot topic for bigger conversations about violence against women, how female artists get treated in hip-hop, and racial dynamics in the justice system. The public reaction was totally divided, with Twitter beefing non-stop between Team Tory and Team Megan. Tory has always maintained he didn't do it, refusing to apologize for the shooting despite getting convicted.
Let's get into this. I want to get into this because it's very important for me to just say this. I'm not here to bash this woman. I'm not here to come down on this woman. I'm not here to disrespect her or throw her under the bus, but it comes to a certain standpoint where I just can't let my character be assassinated for things that are not even really true, like and for falsified narratives and information.
His legal team kept fighting the verdict, recently trying to get a pardon from California's Governor Gavin Newsom. Right before the stabbing went down in May 2025, reports started circulating that Lanez's team was about to drop new evidence, supposedly showing he wasn't the shooter. This is where the alternative narrative started gaining traction. According to statements allegedly from the driver who was in the vehicle that night, the shooting might have gone down during a physical altercation between Megan and her friend Kelsey Harris, with Tory trying to break it up. This version contradicts Megan's testimony, but aligns with what the defense was trying to argue during the trial, that someone else might have pulled the trigger. Adding more fuel to the conspiracy fire is the fact that Kelsey Harris asked for immunity before testifying in the trial, and when she finally hit the stand, she suddenly couldn't remember much about what happened that night. This had Tory's supporters asking why she needed immunity if she didn't do anything wrong, suggesting there's more to the story than what came out in court.
If you look at the steps that it took, remember Kelsey asked for immunity. That should have said something. You know, everybody breezed past it to look at Tory, but that should have said like, why? And it said something to some of us like, why she asked for that?
Not only did she ask for immunity, then got on the stand and said, I don't remember anything.
So this just make it look a little bit different.
It's important to keep it a buck, though. While these alternative stories have been gaining steam on social media, they go against what the court decided after hearing all the evidence. The legal system found beyond reasonable doubt that Lanez was guilty of the shooting. The verdict is the verdict, even as Twitter continues to debate every detail of the case. In October 2024, social media was buzzing with claims that an LA court had found Lanez innocent and was reopening his case. But these reports were basically capped, coming from a misunderstanding of legal procedures. What actually happened was a filing of a writ of habeas corpus, which is just a standard legal move for challenging convictions when other appeals have been exhausted. This wasn't an exoneration, but many fans took it as proof that Tory was about to be vindicated. The relationship between Lanez and Megan before the shooting has also been a topic of hot debate. Initially, they were portrayed as just friends and industry colleagues, but later people rumored then to be more than that. During an interview with Gayle King, Megan denied having a relationship with Tory, but this contradicted other accounts from that night that suggested they were intimate.
What I'm saying is that if you lied about having with somebody, you can lie about anything. You lied in front of Gayle, you can't say, oh, I understand why she would lie about that. You went up there to garner sympathy and to, for whatever reason, it looked like, but if you lied about him, you capable of lying about anything.
Tory's supporters jumped on this contradiction as proof that Megan might not be keeping it 100 about other aspects of her story. They argued that if she wasn't truthful about their relationship, maybe her account of the shooting wasn't reliable either. This line of thinking, while persuasive to some, doesn't address the physical evidence and other witness testimonies that backed up the prosecution's case. The case also highlighted how loyalty in hip-hop can switch up real quick when controversy hits. Several artists who had worked with either Lanez or Megan found themselves caught in the crossfire. Kalani and JoJo pulled their features from Tory's projects after the allegations came out, while Drake seemed to question Megan's story in his lyrics. Meanwhile, DaBaby, who had collabs with both artists, performed with Lanez at Rolling Loud in July 2021, potentially violating a court order that required Tory to stay 100 yards away from Megan. These industry moves showed how the hip-hop community was just as divided as the fans. The response reflected deeper issues around gender, power dynamics, and accountability in the culture. For some, Megan represented a victim whose story was being questioned and undermined, following a pattern that happens too often when women speak out about abuse. For others, Tory symbolized someone being unfairly canceled based on allegations before due process played out. The truth probably falls somewhere in the middle of these extreme viewpoints. What's undeniable is that the events of July 12, 2020 started a chain reaction that's still affecting everyone involved, as well as the broader cultural conversation. The recent prison stabbing adds yet another wild chapter to this already complicated story. Whether directly connected to the original case or not, it has reignited all the old debates about the shooting, the trial, and the competing narratives that have emerged over the years. In many ways, the attack feels like a physical manifestation of the violence that's been underlying this whole saga from day one. As we process what this latest incident means, it's worth thinking about how it fits into Tory's overall downfall. Once a rising star with 7 US top 10 albums in 7 years, his career and freedom got derailed by what went down that summer night in 2020. Now, as he serves his bid, the physical danger he faces behind bars shows how the consequences extend beyond social media beefs and court decisions into real life or death situations. The aftermath. As news about Tory getting shanked continues to blow up on social media and news sites, everybody's watching closely for updates on his recovery and what this means for his situation going forward. According to the latest word from May 13th and 14, 2025, Lanez is now breathing on his own and able to communicate, despite catching 14 stab wounds. Prison officials are saying his condition is fair, which suggests he's stabilized since the initial emergency. Bouncing back from an attack this brutal isn't going to be easy. With stab wounds all over his body and the trauma of having both lungs collapse, Tory's looking at a long road to recovery. Medical experts who aren't directly involved in his treatment have been side-eyeing some aspects of the reported recovery timeline, especially how quickly he supposedly went from needing breathing support to talking normal after having collapsed lungs.
I've been stabbed before. As far as having two collapsed lungs, and then speaking an hour later.
Yeah, it's different.
That sounds,
That's
difficult.
tough.
Beyond just the physical healing, there's questions about how this attack might affect Tory's legal situation. Some legal experts have suggested that such a serious assault could potentially lead to changes in his incarceration situation, possibly including a transfer to a different facility with better security or being placed in protective custody. While violence is unfortunately common behind bars, an attack this savage on a high-profile inmate raises serious concerns about whether the prison can keep him safe. Tory's legal team didn't waste no time incorporating this stabbing into their ongoing narrative about his case. They've suggested that the timing of the attack, coming right after they claim to have found new evidence related to the Megan Thee Stallion shooting, is mad suspicious and potentially connected. While there's no solid proof backing this theory, it's gained traction among his day ones, who see it as further confirmation of a conspiracy against the rapper. What's wild is that despite being locked up and now dealing with this physical setback, Tory still seems to be grinding on his music career from behind the walls. Before the attack, he had teased a new album titled Peterson through his Instagram, showing that he's still creating despite his circumstances. This determination to keep his art flowing mirrors what he did after the original shooting incident when he dropped Daystar to address the allegations against him. Megan Thee Stallion has kept quiet and hasn't made any public statements about Lanez getting stabbed. This silence makes sense given the messy history between them and the ongoing legal and PR battles that have defined their relationship since 2020. Any comment from her would get picked apart and twisted no matter what she said, so staying silent might be the smartest move. Looking forward, several big questions remain unanswered about both the stabbing itself and how it might affect Tory's ongoing legal battles. The official investigation into the attack is still in progress, with authorities trying to determine if this was random violence, prison gang beef, or potentially connected to outside factors. The motive of Santino Casio, the alleged attacker, remains unclear, as does any potential connection to broader prison politics. From a legal standpoint, Tory's team continues to push for ways to challenge his conviction. The claims about new evidence suggesting his innocence haven't been fully backed up or recognized by the courts yet. In October 2024, reports went viral on social media claiming a court had found Lanez innocent and was reopening his case, but these turned out to be misunderstandings of standard legal procedures rather than actual exoneration. The writ of habeas corpus that was filed is a common legal move for challenging convictions after other appeals have been exhausted. It doesn't mean he's been found innocent, but rather starts a review process to check if there were procedural errors during the original trial. This distinction is crucial for understanding where Tory's case actually stands legally, despite all the misinformation circulating online. The stabbing incident might also shift public perception of Lanez in complex ways. For some, it could strengthen existing sympathies, portraying him as a victim of both a flawed justice system and now prison violence. For others, it might be viewed as an unfortunate but separate issue from his original conviction, neither excusing nor adding to their view of his guilt in the Megan Thee Stallion shooting. The medical care Tory receives during his recovery will be crucial not just for his physical healing, but potentially for his legal situation too. If his injuries cause long-term complications or disabilities, this could become a factor in future legal moves, including potential lawsuits against the prison or requests for compassionate release if his condition gets serious enough. Meanwhile, the investigation into who put that work on him continues. Prison officials are reviewing security camera footage, talking to witnesses, and gathering evidence to figure out exactly what went down that morning. The results of this investigation could have major implications for both Tory and his alleged attacker, as well as for the prison system and how they handle protecting famous inmates. From a career standpoint, the stabbing might ironically raise Tory's profile as an artist, creating renewed buzz around his music and personal story. Before the attack, he was already teasing a new album titled Peterson from Behind Bars, showing he's still on his grind despite being locked up. The extra attention from this incident could potentially translate into streams and sales when that project drops, though making money off something this tragic comes with its own ethical questions. For Megan Thee Stallion, all this this renewed attention to the original shooting case probably feels like reopening wounds she's been trying to heal. Since the incident in 2020, she's spoken about the psychological impact of both the shooting itself and the subsequent public scrutiny. Her silence on Tory's stabbing likely reflects a desire to maintain boundaries and focus on her own well-being and career, rather than getting pulled back into this traumatic chapter of her life. As we continue to follow developments in both Tory's recovery and legal situation, it's worth thinking about what this story reveals about our collective values and priorities. Do we care more about facts or engaging narratives? Do we extend compassion to those who've caused harm? How do we balance the demand for justice with recognizing basic human dignity? These questions don't have easy answers, but they're essential to consider as we try to make sense of this complex and ongoing situation. For now, Tory is reportedly focused on healing up, with medical professionals monitoring his condition. According to his Instagram, despite being in pain, he is in good spirits and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. Whether this optimistic update is the real deal or not remains to be seen, but it suggests a resilience that's been characteristic of his response to challenges throughout this controversial chapter of his life. In the coming weeks and months, as Tory recovers from his injuries and potentially faces changes to his incarceration situation, the conversation will continue to evolve. New developments might shed light on unanswered questions, or they might further complicate an already messy narrative. Either way, the story serves as a powerful reminder of the real-world consequences that extend beyond Twitter beefs and courtroom drama, affecting lives in deep and sometimes tragic ways. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, check out these other ones on your screen right now. Thanks for watching. Till next time.